Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to do a little video about some more of my propagation projects I've got going on. Some more of my passion flower. This is the blue passion flower vine, one of the cuttings I took. You see it's still green and alive. I don't think I can get my camera to focus on this guy, but right there at the very bottom right here at the end, you can kind of see a little whiteness. That's a root starting. But also, if I could zoom in, if it would actually let me, you'd be able to see there's also kind of like a little white ring. Pardon the mess. I haven't done my dishes yet this week. But part of what I want to show you guys was like how you can be sure that a cutting you're taking is going to keep growing and survive. Like this guy too, even though these don't have full-on roots yet, I know this is going to continue to go, and this one already has a root coming out, so that, duh, for sure. But I have a couple of these guys in here that, while they are still alive and green, they don't have roots coming out yet. Like this guy, I found one. There's no roots coming out yet. But as you can see, the base of it is starting to kind of swell a little. It's getting a little bulbous. That's a root callus. Any cutting of any kind that you take anywhere, if you're rooting it in water, or if you're rooting it in a moist medium that's not soil, they will a little bit in soil, but they have to have a lot of space, and soil usually compacts them too much. But anyways, you put them in water, any cutting usually, it will start to callus. It'll make a little root ball callus. And even if it's been months and months and months, chances are 99 times out of 100, if your cutting even starts to callus a little bit, it's gonna root. It might take an extra amount of time, but eventually you're going to pick that guy up one day and you're going to come out to something like this, and you're going to be like, oh my God, yay, I get to plant it now, yay. Well, now hold on there, tiger. These are roots, yes, but these are just water roots right now. If I were to plant this guy, you mean these are big enough that he might survive. It might survive if I planted this and continue to grow, but it'd be much better to even leave this in there still. Let those roots get a little bit longer. Or let these roots get little roots that are growing off of them. And then when those secondary roots have branches off of them, then plant it. Like, make sure you have a big amount of roots down here. Don't just, oh man, there's some roots, let's go plant it right now. That's the fastest way to kill a freshly rooted cutting, is to plant it too fast, because the first thing that's going to happen is water roots are going to dry out in the air, in the soil, almost immediately. Within minutes of you putting it down. Even if you watered it to make the soil wet, if the soil's well draining at all and it's decent soil, the roots are going to be in the air just within minutes, and they're going to dry out, and all the water roots are going to air prune themselves and die back. So you want to make sure that you have either a huge amount of water roots, so that as that's happening, it releases enough of other hormones to cause aerial roots to pop out. Regardless, that's getting a little deep for us right now. The main thing is when you have a cutting that's just starting to root, leave it in there. Let those roots get a bit longer, As soon as they do get long enough, and I'll see if I got one of these that has some long enough roots that maybe I can pot it up later, and we can do a video on how to pot up fresh cuttings or something. But like this guy even, I'm propagating some cuttings or leaves that got damaged on my fiance's begonia. I could probably pot this up and it would survive. But I'm still going to let him grow some more roots, because you see his little tiny roots coming off the main roots there. They're starting to grow some, but those main roots are still water roots. They haven't turned into, what can handle the air yet. As they start to thicken up and branch off more and get bigger, they'll start turning that kind of tan color. You don't want them going brown or black, because that means rot. But a little bit of a tan color or a little bit of a beige, that means it can handle the air a little bit more, and it's not just going to die once you plant it. That is when you want to plant your cuttings. It's really hard until you see it a few times to just grasp the concept of it. But basically, when you have some aerial roots or you have an overabundance of water roots, that's when you want to plant your cuttings to make sure they're going to succeed. Because otherwise, until these all have big enough roots, if I planted these right now, this is going to continue to just shrivel up more instead of keep it alive from the water there. And all the new growth that's coming off of these will just shrivel up and die, because there's no water, and that constant supply of water. The other thing, actually, if you do put them in soil and underneath a globe inside of a miniature greenhouse, or you mist them and then put them under like a plastic baggie, something to keep the humidity at like the high 80s and 90s or 100% for constant. You know, that's the only way that you could do this with a cutting and have it 100%, you know, not die, is pot it up when it's got barely any roots on it and put it in a super humid environment. Then it will survive very easily because it's keeping the water in the foliage. Once this starts to die off at all, it's dying. The leaf is. That's it. That leaf is going to die once it starts to die back at all on a passion fruit flower. Most plants are that way. Begonias too. Well, now that this tip has started to die on here, it'll kind of seal itself off from the rest of the leaf to not lose water, but this entire leaf is slowly going to die back. And I really kind of want that with this guy, because as you see, he's got his root ball right there in the very center. There's already fresh leaves and branches coming off of it. It's amazing. I love propagating things and doing it right. It's so easy once you get used to looking for the right things and just being able to just wait. I'm a very impatient person, and being able to just wait long enough is a huge thing. Anyways, I seem to have the hiccups. So thanks. If you like my video, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps out my channel. You know, if you feel like commenting below, let me know what you like about my videos, what you don't like, or if there's something else you want me to teach you. Thanks.